In this video, I'm going to talk about everything you need to master prop firms. It doesn't matter if it's CFDs or futures. It doesn't matter if you want to pass a challenge or get paid. I'm going to talk about everything from what challenge to go for, to what size to go for, to how to approach the challenges. And yes, I'm going to give you a risk management for it. How to get paid. Yes, I'm giving you a risk management for it. And last but not least, how to scale your prop firm journey. This is one of the most important videos you can watch when it comes to prop firms, because I'm going to talk about everything. So right now, let's get into it. Okay, I prepared this whole thing because I didn't want to make a whole general like, oh yeah, you should go for this prop firm. No, you that are watching right now, you have different needs that someone else that is watching, and you want to approach it in a different way too. And so therefore, we're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about types, size, getting funded, getting paid, and how to scale everything. Now, let's start with the types of prop firms. So there are two types of prop firms. There are the CFD prop firms and the futures prop firms. CFD is the synthetic, so we're talking anything that people regard as Forex prop firms. But a lot of traders don't know this. You can actually trade NASDAQ, what you want to trade on the futures one, you can trade it on the CFD side. Now, what's up with CFD prop firms? CFD prop firms, they have a higher upfront cost, right? They usually tend to be much more expensive, but you get more drawdown and it's much easier for you to get a payout, to the point that you can literally just enter in one trade, profit, wait 14 days, and you'll get paid. That is beautiful. It takes longer to pass because even though the profit to drawdown ratios are pretty much the same, the way that they're set up, where you have to achieve usually 8 to 10% of profit in phase 1 and then 5% in phase 2, makes it much longer for you to pass. Now, there's two little bit of negatives with CFD prop firms, and that is that you'll get way more eyeballs when you're getting paid. Like, CFD prop firms, they will look into how you got paid, because on the CFD side, there's a lot of cheating going on. So they make sure that they have a lot of scrutiny every time someone gets paid. And yes, sometimes you're just going to get your payout denied. It has happened to me multiple times and it's not fun. Then you also have a little bit less defined rules. This is something that I really don't appreciate a lot. But again, the fact that you get more drawdown and it's way easier for you to get a payout, for me, makes it absolutely amazing. And I do think that a lot of you should be going for CFD prop firms, right? But I understand that some of you don't. And this is where you would go for futures prop firms. Why? Because there's a smaller upfront cost. And a lot of you, I know, because I'm going to talk about it in this video, you probably want to risk a little bit more on the challenge. But you know that if you risk a little bit more on the challenge because you want to get funded fast, you know that if you risk a little bit more on the challenge, that the probability of you blowing an account is much higher, right? So therefore, you want a challenge that has a smaller upfront cost. And I completely get it. Now, you're also going to get less drawdown. You can have a lot of rules on getting paid. For example, you have consistency rules, or you have minimum trading days where you have to profit like $150, so on and so forth. But it is very quick for you to pass. In 2 days, you can pass a futures challenge if it has a consistency rule on the challenge. While on the CFD side, it's always going to take at least 1 week, right? The good thing is that they have very clear-cut rules, and the systems behind futures prop firms are much better. So you get paid out pretty much instantly. Most futures prop firms pretty much pay you out instantly. And one that we cannot forget, you always have end of day trailing drawdown, which means that as you profit, the drawdown goes up with you and it stays at break even. While on CFDs, that doesn't happen. Now it's about choosing the right one. You have to understand exactly where you are in your trading right now. If you are willing to take a little bit longer on the challenge, not too much longer, a little bit longer on the challenge, pay a higher upfront cost, because you know that the one thing that matters is getting paid, and you can trade these prop firms, I would go for the CFD side. But if you are really into the future side, you love the platforms, which by the way, I completely get. You love the fact that it's way more regulated. You love the fact that you can trade from TradingView, or that you have way less slippage, way less spread, everything is more predictable, then definitely go for the futures. And yes, it has more rules for you to get paid, but again, it's a smaller upfront cost and you get funded way faster, right? So now the question really is to you, would you rather go for the CFD side, pay a little bit more more, get paid more easily, or would you rather go on the future side where you can run through more challenges and get funded quicker? And by the way, both of these have very different ways of scaling, and this is why this video is so important. I'm going to talk about everything, exactly how to scale on the CFD side and on the future side. So now that you understand exactly which one you want to choose, we need to talk about the size to go for. Now, you have to choose the right size. On the CFD side, they are a little bit more expensive, but as I said, they are easier to get a payout from. I personally love the 100K accounts, but because I've been limited on so many CFD challenges, now I'm always doing $200,000 accounts because I'm limited to 1% and I don't want to risk any less than $2,000 per trade per account that I have. But in terms of size, funnily enough, on the CFD side, it doesn't matter that much because the rules always stay the same. So you really should go for the type of account that if you blow in 3 days, you would think about it, but not enough to destroy your whole month, where you would be like, I don't have money to pay for what I need. For me, that's the $500 or the $1,000 price, right? By the way, this is FundedNext, where with code Kimmel, you are able to always get the best discount code. I always recommend the Stellar 2-Step, which is absolutely amazing. You even get a 15% performance reward fee. You can trade news, it's amazing rules, and they also have futures, which is pretty much the best plans in the game right now. So let's continue. On the CFD side, there's multiple prop firms that you can go for. I personally would recommend you staying with the most reputable ones, for example FundedNext or FTMO. But what's going to happen is just that FTMO runs less discounts, therefore it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So I personally just love to max out FundedNext. Now on the future side, it's very different because different challenge sizes have different rules. For example, notice how if we now divide the profit target by the drawdown, which is what I call the profit to drawdown ratio, this gives you 1.5. Yet if you divide these two, the 100K account, you have 2, right? And here you have 1.25. And here's something for you. The lower the profit to drawdown ratio, the easier it is to pass a challenge. But for example, on a 25K account, you only get $1,000 worth of drawdown. That is pretty much nothing. And that's why I recommend you going for the 50K accounts on pretty much every single prop firm. Now you also have Top Step right here. Now to show you that every prop firm is pretty much the same, you also have the same exact rules on other prop firms. Profit target, drawdown, you have this divided by 2, you have 6,000 divided by 3,000, that's 2, you have $9,000 divided by 4.5, that is 2, and last but not least, on the 50K accounts, you have 3,000 divided by 2,000, that gives you 1.5. And I want to show you one that is even more aggressive, which is the Apex $150,000 account that has a profit target of $9,000, max drawdown of $4,000, intraday drawdown, by the way, which gives you a 2.25 profit to drawdown ratio, while their 50K account gives you only a 1.5. So you can see how the bigger the account size, the harder it is for you to pass a challenge. So therefore, I always really recommend you going either for the 50K accounts, or depending on the prop firm, never go for a prop firm where the ratio of the 150K accounts is higher than 2. Make sure you never have a higher than 2 profit to drawdown ratio. So choosing the right size is pretty simple. On CFDs, you go for the one that you can afford, and on futures, you go either for a 50K or a 150K account. Now let's talk about getting funded. And I want to explain something that is very, very important. Prop firms will take all of your money. They will. If you are not a profitable trader, prop firms will take all of your money. The model is built around unprofitable traders, fees, paying profitable traders payouts. You have to understand this. There's no magical prop firm that makes so much money out of the data. No, that does not happen. It's impossible. And so what you have to understand is that if you are unprofitable, you will always lose. Right? Even if you get funded, you might not get the payout, and it probably has happened to you right now. And one of the things that I recommend you doing is getting a profitable edge first. If you want to get funded in 90 days and finally become a profitable trader, then check out Funded Trading Blueprint with the link in the description. If you don't have a profitable edge, you shouldn't even continue this video. So you can watch a video that I explained exactly how to become profitable. It's a whole masterclass. So it's the first link in the description. So let's talk about getting funded. You should go more aggressive on the challenge. And again, I'm only talking for profitable traders. You should go more aggressive on the challenge. Why? Why is it? Kimmel, that's gambling. No, it's gambling if the odds are not in your favor. right? Is a card counter gambling? Technically, yes, but he knows that over a long period of time, he's going to profit. So if I blow an account right now overnight, I don't care because I know that I will make so much more money from prop firms than I ever will put in. And so you have to go aggressive on the challenge because the challenges, you don't get paid on the challenges, right? You know you don't get paid. And so therefore, you go more aggressive on the challenges so you are able to get to the funded accounts as soon as possible. Now, the risk management that I use on CFD prop firms to get funded as fast as possible is max drawdown divided by 1.3 divided by the number of trades per week. So for example, if I have $10,000 worth of drawdown available, I divide that by 1.3 and the number of trades that I take per week. And that gives me about $1.9 thousand of risk per trade, in this case on a 100K account. Am I risking close to 2%? Yes, but I also want to get paid. I don't want to be in the challenge. Why am I on a challenge? Last week, just in payouts, I requested over $25,000. So why would I ever be in a challenge? It doesn't make sense, right? And if you are a profitable trader, same thing. If you want to learn from me, market breakdowns, everything, you know where to go, right? So on the CFD sides, this is the ratio that I recommend, and this is the risk that I personally do. Now for futures, it's very different. Why? Lower upfront costs, easier to pass a challenge. So what I would recommend is max drawdown divided by 0.65 divided by the number of trades per week. So for example, if you have $2,000 worth of drawdown and you divide by 0.65 and you divide that by 5 trades per week, that gives you about $600 risk per trade, which means that in about 4R, you would be able to pass the challenge. Now, for some of you, that might be like, oh my God, that also means that I am 3 trades away of blowing it. Yes, but you don't want to be on a challenge. In futures prop firms, they have a lower upfront cost. So therefore, your goal is to get funded. Why? Because then we go on to the next one, which is about getting paid. You go less aggressive on the funded accounts. For example, on the CFD side, I would actually recommend you toning down a lot and going max drawdown divided by 2 divided by the number of trades per week. So for example, if you have $10,000 worth of drawdown and you are dividing it by 2 and 5 trades per week, that gives you $1,000 risk per trade. But guess what? Like that, from one account, you are able to make $5,000 every single month. That's amazing, right? You stack more accounts and all of a sudden you can quickly get to $20,000, $30,000 per month, right? And then what I recommend you doing to scale, which we're still going to talk about, is always locking in those payouts on the CFD because it's so easy to get a payout. Now on futures, it's different. I would go max drawdown divided by the number of trades per week. Now you can add a ratio here the moment that you start stacking accounts. So here's the thing. If I have one funded next account, I'm not going to risk $200. Listen, I do not care about $200. I will never take an account seriously if I only am risking $200. But if I have 25 accounts and across all of them, I'm risking $300, all of a sudden I'm risking $7.5 thousand per trade, right? That is very, very different. It's a level of respect for the accounts, very, very different because the potential is much, much higher, right? So I would go max drawdown divided by the number of trades per week. So for example, let's say that you have 5 trades per week, you divide 200 by 5, and that gives you $400 risk per trade. Here's the thing. Once you start scaling, which is what we're going to talk about after, what you're going to do is you're going to reduce this to about 300 and then who knows, maybe even 200 because you have so many more accounts and you want to make sure that you don't blow them, right? But now, what is the last thing missing? What is the one thing that you know? You already know what type of prop firm you want to go for, what size you want to go for, how to get funded, how to get paid. Now it's about scaling. Kemal, how can I make so much more money from prop firm? And this is the beauty, right? This is the absolute beauty. What we are going to do is very different on the CFD side and on the future side. So on the CFDs, the way that we're going to scale our accounts is going to be one account at a time. You do a challenge. Once you get funded, you profit on that funded account. You wait for the payout period, right? For the date of your payout. And while you're waiting, you are doing more challenges. By then, you are able to risk way more on the challenge. For example, instead of risking 2%, maybe you can go 3 because you already have a payout locked in, right? Now, you're trying as fast as possible to pass this challenge to get more funded accounts so you can profit more, stack the number of accounts that you have, so then you can lock it in on more accounts and then do more challenges, right? That's the cycle that you're going to run through. Why? Because it's much easier to get a payout on these prop firms. On CFDs, you have basically no requirements to actually get a payout. You get 1%, that's it. You take your payout. While on futures, you need minimum trading days with X amount of dollars. You have a consistency rule, you have this, you have that. So you cannot do this. But on CFDs, you can. And that's going to be absolutely beautiful. Now for futures, there are two possibilities that we're going to go through. One of them is more aggressive than the other. So let's talk about the one that is less aggressive. The less aggressive one simply is that you're going to go through challenge periods and funded periods. What that means is that for about 3 days out of the week, you're going to be trying to pass challenges, risking more so that you can get more funded accounts. Then you're going to stack them up. Then you work towards a payout. And once you get that payout, you might give yourself a couple of more days to be on challenges, stacking the number of funded accounts that you have so that your payouts start being bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is how you're going to do it if you don't want to do both at the same time. You would go through challenge periods, maybe 3 days or 2 days out of the week, you're trying to pass challenges, and the other days out of the week, you're going for the funded account. But I know that not a lot of you like that, because that means that you would be missing out on profits on the funded accounts. And I completely get it. So what I do is a second one. It's a little bit more aggressive, but it has allowed me to scale to a lot. Let's just say that. You're going to do challenges after the session, and you're going to trade funded during the session. That's pretty much it. You're going to be trading your funded accounts always throughout the trading session. It's the most important thing. It is what is going to get you paid. And I know that if you're watching this, and if you're watching this far, you want to get paid. And again, if you do not have a profitable strategy, you need a profitable strategy. So just check Funded Trading Blueprint with the link in the description. Okay? We get live trading sessions every week, daily market breakdowns, daily market analysis. I call every single one of my trades out to make sure that you get funded and you start getting paid. And then once the session finishes, you go for the challenges. Now, this is for people that understand that when I should be trading serious, I should be trading seriously. During the session, you should be trading your funded accounts. But you don't want to trade challenges at the same time as you do funded, because you're going to take the challenge way more aggressive. So what I do is I trade the challenges always after the session. Why? During the session, I just want to get paid. I don't want to be working if I know that I'm not going to get paid, right? So that's why I risk so much more on the challenges, and that's why I do it after the session. And so that is pretty much it. Remember, one of the best prop firms is FundedNext. They have the highest amount of payouts in the industry. They have amazing prices on the future side and on the CFD side, a lot of plans for everyone. And if you want to see a full video exactly about scaling, then check out this video right here. And if you want to check out FundedNext with code Kimmel, you can check out this link right here. Peace.